the intro gets your attention, spent like 3 hours on that. Better be worth it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eve Daniels, aka The Nerdy Nanny, and I write kids books. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, actually. I've already talked about the books that I've published and the things that I'm working on. I'll link those videos down below if you want to play a little catch up. Some of those things I'm going to be referencing in this video, but today I get to unveil Project June. I'm excited. But this isn't a book. This is actually something I've been working on for months and months and months, or putting off for months and months and months. And in case you can't tell from the massive epic movie-themed style intro, I'm a little bit excited about this. Also, I'm wearing makeup today. Can you tell? I don't know. If you want to know why I'm wearing makeup, check out Friday's video. I'll explain it there. Okay, so before I get into what exactly I'm going to be doing in Project June, I guess I need to explain a little bit of the why. When I wrote my first kids book, I didn't really know what I was doing. I published through Kindle Direct Press. I used their free ISBNs. It was an easy setup, and considering everything else I was trying to figure out at the time, it was probably the right call. If the whole author and writing thing hadn't progressed beyond that, I'd still have a book up and available for purchase for relatively cheap, if not free, that I could use as an ebook. And that's something that I still think was a very valuable learning sequence. But since then, I've learned. I've learned a lot. And some of the things that I've learned about involve ISBNs and trademark and formatting and marketing packets and all these kinds of business and self-promotion things that, as a writer, I didn't even consider. So now I get to go back and clean up my mistakes moving forward. Part of the reason why I'm doing this now is actually because this November will mark 2 years since I published my first kids book. And as I wrap up my phase 1 projects, I really want to have a clean slate moving forwards. So I want to get all my ducks in a row so I don't have any sort of hidden blemishes or oops that I need to take care of after this. So one of the first things I need to address for Project June is establishing an actual business plan. Something that goes over revenue streams and startup costs and different marketing options. There were a few really cool templates that I found online that I think I'll be able to adapt, because when you're dealing with kids books, obviously you have slightly different setup and operations costs than you do if you're opening a restaurant or starting a factory. But having that business plan in place is still an essential stepping stone moving forward. Along with setting up a business plan, I am going to be filing for a DBA, or a doing business as. I've looked into different options as far as sole proprietorship and LLC, and in fact I have started an LLC before, so I know how to do that. A DBA works a lot the same way. Basically, it means that I can go out into the world and do services or book events as the Nerdy Nanny and get checks written out to the Nerdy Nanny. You don't have to set up a DBA, but working for yourself and being a small business has different tax things. I'm not going to get into all of that because I'm not a tax professional. Having a DBA or an LLC or something like that really allows you to segregate your business expenses from your life expenses, and is going to help me keep track of what money I'm spending and what money I'm taking in a lot easier. Knowing where the money's going out and coming in is also going to be really helpful for figuring out where the best investments are moving forward. If I put $10 into a Facebook ad and I get 3 sales versus $100 in Instagram ads and no sales, I now know moving forward that Facebook generates higher sales even if I might get more engagement on Instagram. And that's the kind of information that I need to keep track of. So that's why I'm setting up the DBA. Along with that were the tax things. And I'm not a tax professional. Actually, if you want to know more about the author taxes, I really recommend the video that Lizelle Sambury did on her author taxes. And she does live in Canada, so it's a slightly different system, but it was a really valuable sort of just information dump. And it really got me thinking about my own situation and was a stepping stone moving forward. So as part of the DBA and getting all of that business plan ready, I am actually going to be getting an accountant. I'm talking to an accountant who specifically works with writers, and I have a quote from him, which is pretty reasonable. I'm not going to go into the details until next tax season, just because we'll see how well this actually works out. But I do want an actual accountant, someone who knows and understands these rules and laws and can get me the maximum number of deductions so that I'm getting the credit as a small business owner moving forwards. So the business aspect involves setting up the business plan, filing for a doing business as, and hiring a CPA. Once I get all that done, and most of that's relatively simple, I'm hoping I'll be done with a lot of it by the end of this week, actually. One thing that authors like to talk about is how they manage to get so many different things done. And the way that I do it is by cheating. I have this list. It's long, it's detailed, it's got a lot of stuff that I need to handle on it in June. It's currently May. I'm not going to wait until June 1st to start on this project. I have earmarked all of these things as I don't need to deal with it before June. But that doesn't mean that if I have the time, I'm not going to knock a couple things off the list. Picking and choosing selective minor things that you need to do in order to get other projects done, and then knocking them off ahead of time, some call it cheating. I call it creative scheduling. And it really gives you a huge boost moving forward. It's kind of like how if you have a big to-do list for the next day, you should try and knock a couple of things off that list tonight. Like, let's say you've got a busy day tomorrow, and one of the things on your list is to clean the kitchen. You don't want to clean the whole kitchen at 10 o'clock at night. That's exhausting. But you know what? If you empty the dishwasher and start soaking some of the dishes, it's going to be a lot easier the next morning. Is that cheating? Or is it working smarter rather than harder? The other aspect of what I'm going to be dealing with in Project June actually comes down to my product line, aka my books. When I started, I used the free ISBNs from Kindle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But moving forward, I want the ISBNs to be under my name. And before, I didn't know how to go about doing that, so I put it off. Which means that now I am going to have to purchase a batch of ISBNs. I'm probably going to get 10 because that's how many books are expected to be in phase 1. I'm going to buy 10 ISBNs, unlist my books from Amazon, reformat them, attach the assigned ISBN that I'm going to be submitting to the Library of Congress, and then relist them. While the books are unlisted anyways, because I'm going to be removing them completely and then relisting them, I'm going to go ahead and fix those formatting errors before I submit to the Library of Congress and have them copyrighted and officially under my name. Once I have all that done, I can go ahead and relist the books on Amazon under the Nerdy Nanny Publishing House. If you buy a certain number of ISBNs, you get to call yourself whatever you want. So, I guess I just became a publisher? I'm still going to have to work out some details on that. I'm not sure of everything. I've been doing a lot of Googling, a lot of talking with other authors. I know Natalia Leahy did something similar. But if I move forward with the Nerdy Nanny beyond a certain point and want to do live events, being published under my own publishing house is going to give me a lot more credibility than having a Kindle Direct publishing book. A lot of people won't know the difference, but the people who matter, librarians, principals, they probably will. So it's just something that for my own peace of mind moving forward, if I want to have the opportunity for the kind of growth that I think I could actually achieve, I need to deal with it now. I'm not done then though. Once I relist the books, I have affiliate links all over the place. Links in articles I've written, links on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. And I'm going to have to go in and alter as much as I can. Obviously, Instagram and Twitter you can't change, but Facebook and YouTube and my website, I'm going to have to backtrack every single post and alter the links to reflect the new location of the book, so that when people are clicking on the Amazon link to buy the book, they're sent to the right place instead of receiving a 404 error or a product does not exist listing. Nobody's going to go hunt for your book after they see that notice. They're just going to click away. Okay, so I have a business plan with the DBA and the CPA and all of that. I am dealing with the formatting and ISBNs for the book, and then I'm putting them back online. But now I have to deal with the actual online stuff. I already talked about dealing with all the affiliate links so that I don't end up with a 404 error anytime someone wants to buy a copy of my book. But as long as everything is getting taken down, there are certain things that I really want to change about my website. I want to change the layout. I want to make the article content more accessible. I want to possibly create an online store. I'm still figuring all of these things out. But I would love for people to be able to go to thenerdynanny.com and order a copy of the book without having to get rerouted through Amazon. I don't know if that's possible in all honesty, but I would really like it if I had a more cohesive presentation online. Part of that is actually going to be consulting with my friends who do web design and things like that, design in general, because while I'm capable of recognizing something that's beautiful and well put together, I'm not necessarily at the skill level where I can produce it. So while I'm not great at aesthetics, I have friends who are. Guess who's going to be getting a phone call in June? The fourth thing that I want to deal with is actually my online presence. And not just the website. That's a separate monster. I'm talking about social media. There's something that some of the other author tubers mention every once in a while, and that it's creating online content, whether it be articles or videos or Instagram posts. While it may be feeding your writing or your author platform, it's not writing. So if those things are starting to take away from your time to write, you really need to evaluate where you want to spend your time and energy. So that's what I need to do in June, is I need to take a look at the social media platforms that I am using and evaluate what I can realistically expect to maintain. The other thing I need to do once I have figured out which platforms I want to keep and where I want to devote my time and energy comes down to aesthetics. Again, not great at aesthetics. I'm going to be talking to my friends a lot, trying to figure out what works for me, where I need to develop as far as taking pictures or designing pictures. Like, do I need to get something like Photoshop? If I get Photoshop, will I actually use it? Can I just keep using Canva for the next 10 years? If certain things or skill sets are going to provide more benefit than they will take away from my time and energy, they are worth investing in. If it requires too much time and energy for me to learn them and they don't yield a wide enough margin of improvement, it may not be worth it for me. But so I need to evaluate what I want to keep, and then I need to evaluate how much time and what sort of content I'm going to be posting and devoting to each, and create a cohesive aesthetic or presentation that I can carry through to each of the platforms while creating distinct content. The last thing I'm going to be dealing with in Project June is all of you. I'm actually going to be looking at my YouTube channel and seeing if the amount of time and energy I'm putting into creating content is worth it. I'm really enjoying YouTube. I'm having a lot of fun. I like making these videos. I've learned a lot in the last few months about what kind of content I like to make and what kind of content I don't like to make. now I need to evaluate whether or not that's something that I can continue to realistically do continuing forward. A big part of that is actually going to be the kids' content. When I started creating things on YouTube, I did it under the assumption that some of the people who'd be watching my channel would be kids or, families. That doesn't seem to be the case. And while I like my kids' content, all of it is a little rough and ready. Like, I didn't understand camera angles or, audio. A lot of it's very choppy, and a lot of it was filmed on a phone with a broken camera. Most of it was filmed on a phone with a broken camera, actually. Oops. But I like it, and I don't necessarily want to get rid of it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with that moving forward, and then find a realistic schedule for me that allows me to enjoy the AuthorTube platform and spend time with all of you without sucking 10 to 20 hours a week out of my schedule. I did start this YouTube channel while we were all in quarantine, and that was a false expectation of time, and I knew that. But while we had the time, I wanted to take the opportunity to explore the platform. And I've done that. So now I need to figure out how much to keep and how to scale it back and make it work with my life, my needs, and my expectations. If I can't figure out how to balance those, I might need to evaluate whether having a channel is the right call for me. I'm hoping the answer is yes. I really like doing these. Am I out of focus again? Damn you, camera. And I learned how to put on makeup. See? No, I still just look like me. My head looks so square when I'm wearing this headband. I'd take it off, but I don't even know what this is anymore. Actually, that looks okay. But then I keep touching it. I don't want to keep touching it because you're not supposed to touch your face. Because there's a plague. Oh, shoot, I'm still filming. Also, if you hear any weird whirring or electronic noises in the background, it's just my roommates installing shelving. And the Roomba's running. So, I'm going to go see if the Roomba can be done for now. I might get more if there's a huge deal, but otherwise I'm going to stick with the 10. In case you can't tell, it just started pouring. I'm going to keep filming and then maybe reshoot this. So, in case you're wondering what that weird light is, I have my laptop up because I also have digital notes, and I forgot that it's bright. On the bright side, that means I'm doing a much better job of looking at the lens rather than my own picture in the viewfinder. Lens, viewfinder. Lens, viewfinder. Yeah. I also reinstalled Twitter. That was a bad call. I should delete that again. Twitter is very bad for my headspace. Just a lot of negativity. Oh, except for Thoughts of Dog. You should definitely follow Thoughts of Dog. It's adorable. It's a golden retriever. He says things like, "Good morning. I don't know if anyone's told you this yet today, but I love you." And it's just like, yes, that is the content that I signed up for when joining the internet. Not Twitter rants from celebrities. So, what was I talking about? Got kind of off focus there. Right, so I have started spending more time on Instagram. And by that, I mean I re-downloaded Instagram because I didn't know how it worked before. so I deleted it.